Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to today's video. My name is Chris. I'm a creative entrepreneur. In today's video, I want to teach you the art of sales in an 8-step method, and this is the exact method that I use to close, and I think I'm really good at closing, and it makes sales calls really fun. Also, I have a free gift for you guys. This is called my Self-Employed Handbook. This is essentially 10 skills that I think took me from ground zero and made me a lot of money. And instead of going through the obstacles and challenges that taught me these 10 tips, I want to give them to you for free so that you guys can get through it without the lessons and you get more of the blessings. So if you guys want it, it'll be for free in the description box below. And today's video, the art of sales. This is fun. Like I said, we're going to go through 8 total steps, and a lot of this information comes from the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. You know, if you guys like this video, I definitely also encourage you to get the book. I'll link it below in the description box as well, because it'll really help you expand on the topics that I'm covering, because essentially I've condensed all this, built my own method, and it's worked very well, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So number one, let's get started. What is the most important thing to do on a sales call? Is active listening. Not just listening, but active listening. And active listening is essentially using what they call vocal reflection, or reflecting back to the person what you're hearing. So what you're going to do in this method is pick 1 to 3 words from what the person is saying and say it back to them with a little bit of a question mark or a statement. Then it essentially triggers them to unwind it a little bit more. So what do I mean by that? I'll run you through this example real quick. It's like, say we get on the call and I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, this is Chris, give me a call for your one-on-one discovery call. You know, how's your day going? Get the soft conversation started. They're like, oh, it's going well, you know, so forth. And then be like, so go ahead and just give me a brain dump of everything that's on your mind of why you reached out today. So then they'll say, oh, you know, we're needing a video created. And I'll say, oh, a video? What kind of video? They'll say, oh, a marketing video. And I'm like, a marketing video? Awesome. What platforms are you wanting to put it on? Or like, what's the format of this video? They'll say, oh, we're looking to put it on YouTube. Okay, perfect. How long of a video are you looking for? Like 15, 30 seconds? Yeah, I think we're looking for about a 30-second ad. Perfect. So essentially what I'm doing is listening to what they're saying, picking 1 to 3 words, reflecting it back to them, and then we'll get to step 2 here. Is I was asking the key questions of what and how. And what and how are so essential, because you really don't want to ask why. Why comes off as confrontational, but what and how are magic words in business conversations and also just like working through problems with people. Because what you're doing is you're taking the leadership role in the conversation, but you're allowing the person to come up with their own solutions and unwind the vision from their head, because they reached out to you because they have a vision in their head, and you're the responsible one for unwinding it without leading them in a direction, right? Because if you lead them in a direction, you could essentially decrease what you're selling or decrease your jobs that you're creating for yourself, versus like asking them the questions, letting them unwind it, letting them unfold what that vision is in their head, and you're the one directing it with the what and the how. And essentially what and how are also like magical words, because they really open people up to expand their vision rather than sink their vision down. Then next, what you're going to be doing while you're asking all these what and hows and reflecting with active listening is simply just taking notes. And what you're going to do is take notes on everything they're saying, and this will come to be a key at the end, because essentially you'll aggregate everything that they said, and when you get to the point of the conversation, you're going to be like, so just to make sure I heard you right, and also let me know if I missed anything here. And you'll say like, so you're needing a video. Oh yeah, you also mentioned photos, and you're wanting a 30-second marketing video that we're going to put on YouTube, and you essentially recite it back to them. And this is where a key part of the sell comes in, because as you recite it back to them, not only are you validating everything that you were listening and you were taking notes, but also they might go, oh, there's one more thing. You know, we were also needing some branding photos, and I'll be like, branding photos, awesome. You know, I do photo and video, so that'll be no problem. But it essentially allows you to grab an extra sell or help remind the client of something that they might have forgotten, because they're pulling straight from memory and they're dumping it to you. And by reciting it and giving them that full, you know, summary back, they're going to be like, oh, I did forget something. And that's where you're on the sales and you're like, I got another one in the bank. So once you get all of that, what you're going to do next is essentially ask them if they have a budget. A budget's important, because essentially, like, if a client gives me a budget, I can build a perfect package to them with that budget to give them the max bang for their buck and essentially the most high quality products that I possibly can. But a lot of times they won't give you a budget, and that's okay, because next I'll show you how to work around not having a budget. Because when people don't give me a budget, I'm like, no problem, I'll create one for you. And essentially what I'll do is, you know, then they'll say on the call, they'll be like, oh yeah, we don't have a budget. I'm like, all right, well, And then they'll ask like, so how much is this going to cost us? And I'm like, well, essentially what I do is I don't give a budget on the phone, or a proposal or a budget. What I do is say, like, what I'm going to do is essentially review all your notes, take everything into consideration, and I'm going to send you over a proposal. And when I send over that proposal, I tell them that I'll send it over within the next couple of days, because while this sells hot, you want to sell to it. But also you got to give yourself time to filter through everything, to consider like, how much time are you going to hire people? Are you going to have to get some extra gear? How long is it going to take to edit these projects? Like, you have so many considering factors to consider in that you don't want to undersell yourself, because number one, like if you underbid, you're going to get resentful at how much work the project is. You're going to feel overworked, underpaid, and it's not going to create a good connection. Whereas if you really take in all accounts and put it all together, then you're going to create a good, collaboration with the client where both people's needs are getting addressed and everybody feels valued. But what you're going to do is take all those notes and you're going to think, time, money, energy, equipment, so forth. And what you're going to do is create 3 options in a proposal. And this is key, guys, because essentially what I do is I create 3 levels, and the 3 levels are the bottom one. All right, let's go to the middle one first. So the middle one is exactly what they ask for. And then I create a higher tier one and a lower tier one. And essentially this allows them to have different pricing options, because though they're asking for all this, they might not have the budget for it if they didn't tell me. But my goal is to figure out the budget here. And I do that by putting a number to exactly what they ask for with the time and energy. And then I offer something lower to still allow them to work with me. And essentially the highest one is like adding in a couple things, like maybe they didn't ask for photos. Maybe it's like, and photos are really easy to add to a video job if you're a hybrid shooter, because it's just simple in the act of doing it all. But essentially by giving them 3 different levels, they have options, so they're still in control to choose. And people do like options, but not too many options. It also just simply allows them to see the value across the board. And I never try to put, a ton of value, what they ask for, and lower value. I essentially spread the value across the board, but it's how much value they want. Because even though they might have only asked for this, by adding in this, they could be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like, we could use some photos, even though we didn't ask for it. That's and 25 photos can be about a half a year's Instagram post for most small businesses or companies too. So you got to think about that, and that can be extremely valuable to them, but you're only adding a little bit more to the price, and they're like, dang, that's a lot of value. Dang, like, this dude really doesn't know his stuff. Or you could even like add in some stuff that might have been overlooked. So, and then last is deliver the proposal. This is key to do within the time frame that you're saying. Like I said, I always do it within 48 hours, because it'll still be fresh on the person's mind, and then it will still be like active, and they could be seeking other options, which is okay, but you want to be one of the bids placed, and you want to have a solid foundation for what everybody's bidding against. And then last, follow up if needed. The follow-up is an art, and I always say do it about a week later. And you want to follow up and never follow up on a Monday. The follow-up should never be on a Monday. Monday's the busiest day, because essentially Friday, everybody's trying to get as much work done as possible. They also push off work till Monday. Monday is essentially catching up from the weekend and stuff that you didn't get done Friday. So I always say deliver your follow-ups on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because essentially this allows them to get the busiest day of the week out of the way. So if you send an email, it might get overlooked, it might get pushed off. But if you deliver it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, those tend to be more of the dead days of the weekend business, more so Wednesday. Things are kind of simmering down, but they haven't escalated for the end of the week. But essentially, that is my entire sales process. It's a ton of listening. It's actively listening. It's reflecting back to the person. It's asking what and how to really expand their vision and get all the keys. As you're taking notes through this whole process, you're essentially going to reflect that back to them after the call, which might spark something that they miss. Then you're going to seek a budget. If there isn't a budget, you're going to create a budget through your proposal, which you say, hey, we're going to, give me some time to review this. I'll deliver this in 48 hours. Then you deliver it. Then if you don't hear anything back, you follow up a week later on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then bam, who knows, you might get the job, you might not. That's the art of the sales, but at the end, this will give you the best chance to get the most money possible and also have the best relationship with your client. Guys, thank you for watching this video. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and peace out. Have a great day. Woo!